Hi, I'm Nora, and most of the time, I'm pretty sweet. But when I fall in love, I turn into a jealous psycho. Before I continue, please like and subscribe. I blame my mom entirely for it. She and my dad were high school sweethearts. But over time, Dad kept getting promoted at work and got busier, while Mom felt neglected and became really insecure. I mean, she became a nutcase. Like once in the supermarket, when Dad held the door open for the woman behind us, Mom accused him of flirting with her and even flung a melon at the woman's head. Or that time at my 6th birthday party when Dad gave a female clown a slice of cake, Mom marched over furiously, smushed the cake with her fist, and then gave the clown a wedgie. I don't condone violence, but that was hilarious. When I was in the 3rd grade, Mom was convinced that Dad was having an affair with his pretty new secretary. So one day, she took me and my older sister Sophie to his office.
Please don't steal our daddy, lady. Don't take him away from us. Who will feed us and buy us clothes? Do you want us to be orphans? It's a very bad thing to be wait, I forgot. I wrote it on my arm. Oh yeah, a homewrecker. Homewreckers are bad, and you'll end up in jail, bad lady.
Wait a second. Are those my jeans you're wearing? I want my jeans and my husband back, witch.
Are you insane? As if my size 0 jeans would even fit your size 8 butt.
Mom snarled and leapt at the secretary, who dodged her and went screaming down the hallway. She burst into the conference room with Mom on her tail, and the two ended up crashing onto the large conference table where Dad was having a meeting with the company's top executives. What on earth? You cheated on me and gave this bimbo my favorite jeans. Mom threw a stapler at Dad, which missed him and hit his boss instead. Needless to say, he was fired. And that was the day he left us for good. Sophie and I were devastated. Wipe your tears, girls. He wouldn't have left if he wasn't cheating on me. Take it from me. All men are garbage, and we're better off without them. Well, that didn't stop me from having my first crush in the 7th grade. His name was Adam, and he was our neighbor. One day, Sophie caught me staring at him from my window.
Adam and Nora sitting in a tree. K-I-S-S-I-N-G.
Shut up, Sophie. I don't even like that boy.
Yes, you do. You want to brush his hair and hold his hand and have his babies. I read it in your diary, see?
I snatched my diary out of Sophie's hands and pushed her out of my room. She was so annoying. A couple of weeks later, a super pretty girl named Becca joined my class, and we quickly became friends. Once, when we were hanging out at my place, Adam showed up at my door. Hi. I brought you some cookies I baked myself. You free to hang out?
Oh, yeah. Why wouldn't I be free? Wait, I have another guest over, but yeah, I don't think she'd mind. Come in. You smell so good. I mean, the cookies smell so good.
I wanted Adam to have a good time, so I logged on to Ask Brain 2 and asked about fun game ideas. The 3 of us played Truth or Dare, charades, and hide and seek. A couple of times, I caught Adam smiling at me, and when he brushed cookie crumbs from my cheek, my heart skipped several beats. The next day at school, I was at my locker, and I saw Adam staring at me from across the hall. Suddenly, he winked at me and blew me a kiss. The butterflies in my stomach went into a frenzy. I raced down the hall, ready to jump into Adam's arms, but I slipped on a banana peel and fell face first right at Adam's feet. I thought he'd sweep me up, but instead he stepped over me, hugged Becca, and gave her the most romantic kiss I'd ever seen. I wanted the ground to swallow me whole. That night, Mom and Sophie caught me crying in my room. Boys are like that, sweetie. They'll lead you on, make you think they love you, then tear your heart out, just like your father. Not only was my heart broken, now I was totally paranoid when a boy even came close to me. Hey, Nora, you want to go to the movies?
I'd rather eat a bag of worms.
Would you be my Valentine?
Stay away from me, or I'll dunk your head in a toilet.
Nora, you're the most beautiful girl I've ever seen.
Liar!
After a while, I got a reputation for being a little cuckoo, and most of the kids in school started avoiding me, but I didn't care. Sophie was totally different, though. She'd flirt with every boy that passed her in the hall and date a new jerk every 2 weeks. Of course, they all broke her heart, and I felt so sorry for Sophie that I decided to help her. You gotta remember my rules, Soph. Don't let their good looks fool you. Don't trust anything they say. Don't let them melt you with their kisses, and don't ever fall in love. Sophie listened attentively and took notes, but a week later, I caught her kissing a boy named Clive in her room. You're breaking all the rules. Your rules are dumb. All boys aren't bad.
That's right, girl. Boys are cool, and that's why they rule. Ha ha!
Shut your stupid mouth. No one's talking to you. Where'd you pick him up from? The dumpster? That's your problem. You're so judgmental and won't give any boy a chance. I thought you were smarter than this, Sophie. Maybe hanging out with stupid boys has made you stupid too. Sophie kicked me out of her room, and we didn't speak much after that. Soon, I was off to university, and there were boys everywhere. I just kept my head in my books and rejected any boy who even tried to make a move. But you know, a girl starts to get lonely. So, when a girl in my class asked me out one day, I impulsively said yes. Just because I'd renounced all men didn't mean I couldn't find love. And how bad could it be, right? At first, not so bad. In fact, pretty great. She loved to cook, she braided my hair, she gave me the best pedicures, and we were the same shoe size. But then, she started acting like I'd adopted her. She would never leave my dorm, and I hated it when she used my towel and my hairbrush. She was clingy and needy, and constantly needed validation that she was the most important person in my life. So, if your mother and I were hanging off a cliff, holding on for dear life, and you could only save one person, who would it be? My mother, obviously. Seriously, I've known you for a month. Mom carried me in her womb for 8 more months than that. I thought it was a reasonable answer, but she totally lost it. She broke half the things in my room and threw the other half out the window before she stormed off. Then she started stalking me everywhere I went. I tried talking to my other friends about how unsafe I felt, but they all laughed it off. Yeah, if you're dating a guy and complain about him, everyone shows you sympathy. But no one comforts you if it's a girl. Oh, come on, she's barely 5 feet and she looks totally harmless. What could she possibly do to you? Only after she tried kidnapping me did anyone take things seriously. She was expelled from the university and I got a restraining order. And after that, I swore off girls too. Then in my junior year, Sophie showed up at my dorm one day with the worst news. Clive proposed to me. You're kidding. Man, that loser is so out of your league. Don't worry, sis. I know how to handle this. Just send Clive a breakup text. Tell him he stinks, he makes you want to puke, and you never want to see him again. No, I love Clive. I said yes, and our wedding is in 4 weeks. I just came to ask you if you'd be my maid of honor. I couldn't believe this. I thought Clive was just a phase. I wanted to yell at the top of my lungs, "Don't do this, you'll ruin your life." But instead, I caved in and said yes. I mean, was I allowed to say no? When I got back home for Sophie's wedding, I tried to keep an open mind about Clive. But Clive was horrible. He had no sense of humor, he was boring, and he totally ignored Sophie to spend all his time with his friends or fixing his dumb car. So when it was time to make my maid of honor speech, well, things got out of hand. Here's to Sophie and Clive. Clive is dumber than an ant, he smells like a rotten egg, and his face reminds me of a horse's butt. What are you doing? Sophie, I don't know how you can stand him. Are you marrying him for his money? Oops, I forgot he's broke. Look, we both know this marriage isn't gonna last, so why don't we cut to the chase now, and I can get you out of that tacky wedding dress Clive bought you from the dollar store. Sophie got so mad that she threw the wedding cake at me, Clive's mom cried, and the rest of the bridal party chased me out of the building. The next day, I was packing my bags to leave when Sophie came to my room. I thought she'd punch my face, but instead, she took my hand. Listen, Nora, I'm not like you, okay? I'm not bitter, I'm not angry, and I don't hate men. I chose Clive, and if you want me in your life, you'll have to respect that. Okay, but you're making a huge mistake. You're the one making the mistake. Love is real, and one day, I hope you'll understand. I was only trying to do the right thing, but clearly Sophie was too blind to appreciate it. But when I got back to my university, my life turned upside down. My friends and I went to a restaurant to celebrate my birthday, but when we got there, the waiter told us our table was booked. 3 dumb guys were sitting there laughing and joking. But I booked this table a week ago.
My apologies, ma'am. It was our mistake. Maybe you could come back tomorrow?
Just as I was about to snap at the waiter, one of the guys from the table walked up to us. His name was Chris. He had movie star hair, a $1 million smile, and a perfect body.
Why don't you girls join us? There's plenty of room, and we won't bother you.
That's a horrible idea. Don't mind Nora. She's just kidding. The next thing I knew, we were sitting at their table, and Chris talked to me all night. To my surprise, he wasn't the absolute worst. He worked in a private security firm as a bodyguard, and all his crazy stories made me laugh. At the end of the evening, he even asked me for my number. Don't get any ideas. I'm not interested in a relationship.
Neither am I. I was thinking we could be friends.
After that, Chris and I talked and texted every night, and soon we started hanging out almost every day. No, we weren't dating. We were just, okay, fine, it's true. Every time he was close, his cologne made me dizzy, and when he looked at me, my stomach did that weird thing that it does after I eat too much cheese. and if his hand brushed against mine, I started having acid reflux. Yeah, I let my guard down and fell in love, okay? And I wasn't the only one.
I know we're supposed to be friends, but I love you, Nora, and I think we're meant to be together. Like the moon in the night sky, like the bees and the flowers, like water in a well.
Just shut up and kiss me. Soon after I'd graduated and moved in with Chris, he got a job as a bodyguard to protect this beautiful pop star Sasha. Yeah, I know y'all have heard about her. Sasha, the gorgeous singing sensation who ended up dating her ex-bodyguard Damon? Yeah, that one. Sasha was going on tour, and for months, Chris was off traveling from city to city, and it got kinda lonely. Then one day, Mom and Sophie came to visit.
Oh, Nora, my poor baby. You must be so sad.
What are you talking about? Stop it, Mom. It's none of your business.
Your sister needs to know.
Mom showed me a bunch of pictures online of Sasha leaning on Chris's arm and laughing. Then she turned on the TV, and some stupid reporter said how cute Chris and Sasha looked together. When I heard that, I suddenly picked up a bat and smashed the TV to pieces. Nora, don't listen to Mom. She's paranoid. All that stuff is stupid gossip. Sasha is with Damon, and Chris adores you.
Nora, don't be naive like your sister. Everybody lies and cheats.
After Sophie and Mom left, I called Chris, but he didn't answer. I kept thinking about what Mom said and how I'd broken all of my rules, and now my heart was in danger. So the very next morning, I put on a disguise, took a bus to Sasha's next concert venue, and signed up as an extra on set. And I watched the two of them like a hawk. Every time Chris whispered something in Sasha's ear, my heart burned. She even asked him to zip up her dress once. Had everybody else died? One evening during Sasha's performance, I was backstage when I saw Chris and a dancer going into a dressing room and closing the door behind them. What the heck? I quickly ran after them and burst in. Aha! Caught you! Just then, I saw the girl's arm was bleeding and Chris was bandaging it.
Caught you? Wait, who are you exactly?
Oh God, I couldn't let him recognize me. I turned around and ran for it, with Chris sprinting right behind me. In my frenzy, I found myself heading straight for the stage.
Red alert, red alert. A snake is headed towards the eagle.
I found myself crashing into the dancers on stage, and just as I was about to run into a horrified Sasha, 4 men pinned me to the ground while the audience gasped. I was immediately carried away and found myself facing Chris backstage.
Nora?
I realized my wig had come off. Sasha's performance was ruined, and her manager insisted that Chris be fired.
What were you thinking? You compromised my client's security, and you cost me my job and my reputation.
Oh, I don't know, Chris. I was thinking how my hunky boyfriend hangs out with beautiful pop stars and dancers all the time and is never home anymore. Can you blame me for being paranoid?
Yes, I can. I haven't given you any reason not to trust me.
Yet. I just don't want you to be a bodyguard anymore.
Well, too bad. It's my job. Just go home, Nora. I don't want to be around you right now.
Feeling miserable, I ended up going to a dance club instead to get my mind off of everything. I saw this cute boy on stage playing with the band, and he kept winking at me. I recognized him from TV. He was a movie star. On an impulse, I took a deep breath and then walked up to the boy and gave him a passionate kiss. The next morning, I was back home, and I woke up to tons of pictures on the internet of me and that movie star kissing. Chris showed up at my door soon after.
Why would you do that to me? I thought we were in love.
Everybody cheats, babe. Welcome to the real world. I know you'll cheat on me one day if you aren't already. I am done with this stupid relationship. I walked out of there with my bags and went to Sophie. But soon after, I started feeling sick to my stomach. It hit me like a ton of bricks. I was a cheater, something I hated and felt horrible about. I made a big mistake. I don't know what to do.
Yeah, you messed up big time.
I wasn't talking to you, Clive. There's no need to be rude. You're right. I'm the worst, and I'm sorry for all the mean things I've said and done to you too. I don't know who I am anymore. I never wanted to hurt Chris, but something came over me. You let Mom get into your head, Nora. She says she's better off alone, but all I see is a bitter, paranoid woman who can't be happy and can't stand anyone else's happiness either. You deserve to love and be loved in return. And yeah, sometimes love can hurt, but sometimes it can also be amazing, like what Clive and I have. I really don't understand how that's possible with Clive. Okay, sorry. You're right. I decided to see a therapist and learned to deal with my insecurities and trust my heart. I even wrote Chris a letter apologizing for hurting him. I didn't get a response, but that was okay. One day, I went to eat at the cafe where Chris and I had our first kiss. Then someone walked up behind me.
You're sitting at my table.
I looked up to see Chris looking down at me. He smelled like an ocean breeze. My heart melted, but I tried to play it cool. I don't see your name on this table.
You're right. Do you mind if I sit with you?
I thought you hated me.
I did at first, but I couldn't hate you for too long. You really broke my heart, though.
I hope one day you can forgive me. You were the love of my life and my best friend. I want you back, but I understand if you can't trust me. Maybe we can start over? We could take it one day at a time.
I can't promise anything, but I do want to give us a second chance.
And this time, I was throwing away all my stupid rules and following my heart.